Hello Libra, and welcome to your August 2021 reading. Be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising signs for a more well-rounded perspective. If you're seeing this video at any time other than August, I do believe sometimes these readings can be timeless, so take what resonates and leave the rest. That applies to everyone, obviously. And if you're interested in an extended reading, there is a link for that in the description box below for a small fee. Other than that, let's go ahead and begin. We are starting out, Libra, with the card of family. So there's a call to connect with family. There feels like there's been a disconnect. There's been an experience of just a separation. And overall, there's just a message that there is something to be said about the healing aspect of connecting with family, connecting with people and who hold the same values, traditions, cultures that you've been raised in, that you know within your core that this makes up who you are, that this makes up who you want to be, this makes up who you want to leave as part of your story, as part of your legend, and potentially even pass on to your descendants. So overall, really connecting with family. There also seems to be a bit of connecting with ancestor with this. It's very faint, so I'm assuming this is applicable to you in kind of a secondary benefit from this connection. So by connecting with family, whether you're just isolated from them or if you had disconnect with them, doesn't matter. By connecting with family, you sort of draw in that power that we get when we're connecting with relations that hold the same sort of values and traditions and so on and so forth. But also by doing that, the added benefit with that is that we also connect with our ancestral ties in the process, because our family members are linked to our ancestors as just as much as we are, especially though if you're connecting with your older family members. This allows you to connect directly to your ancestors through those links because they're a bit closer and earthly familial ties, if that makes sense. But overall, as you move into August, family seems to be something that is heavy on your mind, and they're telling you not to negate this. They're telling you not to dismiss this. They're telling you that this is something that you do want to continue to contemplate and potentially take to the next level. And that level is going to be in somehow connecting with family in some way that you know is going to be giving to you, nurturing to you, something that really feeds your soul. We have the message of permanence next, and this is, I heard bloodlines are permanent. So again, we're drawing in the rest of the message that felt faint with this card, but is being drawn in with a little bit more power with ancestor work. So if you've been contemplating ancestor work, overall, I feel like you're getting a message that you need to start with your own family. It doesn't matter how much you may or may not get along with them. There are things that your family members know that you don't know because of their connection with family members. So there are things about your grandparents or your great-grandparents that you might not know that your parents or your grandparents may know, and that allows to connect with those family ties. But it's not just that. There's also family ties that if you aren't on speaking terms with, or for whatever reason you can't speak with your family, there is also the connection that you have through like the ancestor work that a lot of people we have access to today that we didn't have access to before. You can do that if you don't have actual physical tangible connections with family. There are other means of ancestor connection that you can draw from that's available with today's technology. But also along with that, with the card of permanence, I'm getting an overall message that it doesn't matter how much you may or may not be connected with someone. Obviously, if you can make those connections in the tangible world, there's great benefit to be had with that. There are stories that you can gather and you can make part of your story and then also pass on to other family members as part of their stories eventually. But if you don't have access to that for some reason, because some of us, there are other contingent reasons why we do not have access to that way, they're letting you know that blood is permanent. The blood that runs through your veins is still a means of connection. So if you're looking to really deepen your ancestor connection as you move into the darker half of the year in the Northern Hemisphere in August, however that applies to you, if this is something that you are interested in and deepening and including in your actual practice, they're letting you know that your blood is your connection to your ancestors. Your ancestors, their stories, your connection to them, their connection to you runs through your veins. It runs in your blood. It is permanent. It doesn't matter how distant something may be here on the earthly plane. It's still connected. You're still connected. You can find those answers through that in some facet. And I believe that goes from modern technology to potential even ritual work should you participate in that. We are following this with the Page of Cups and the Three of Cups. And the Page of Cups, I feel like, is kind of tapping into letting you know you can... I ended with the concept of spiritual connection and ritual with this permanence card. And I feel like it's being repeated in the Page of Cups and Three of Cups. Cups in this particular format, going off of what we just said regarding these two cards, I feel like Cups is tapping into the spiritual aspect. Water, the element of water, and how there is a lot of connection with water and spirit connection. The fact that everything, all life forms have water in it. The fact that air even has water in it. And the fact that blood has water in it. This is all kind of tying together. This is how I feel like the cups are drawing on the message that came from here. And that concept of ritual, Page being someone who's learning the aspect. And in this concept, Cups being the spiritual connection that we have, Page being the person who is learning, the person in training. I feel that represents you and your position of learning and training. Three of Cups in this connection with celebration, I feel like it's really pulling in that concept of having a ceremony of some sort that allows you to take this to whatever you want to for connection. So that ceremony, that connection, this can be something that you are doing with family. It can be something that you're doing with a spiritual mentor who is guiding you as far as how you can connect with ancestors through spiritual work. Whatever the case may be, the Page of Cups and the Three of Cups is really tapping into you becoming becoming a student and really honing your craft, learning from someone who can teach you in some way or facet, and really connecting that connection of water and the spiritual realm and how it connects to blood and ancestor. So this can be interpreted various ways. So you really have to connect with your higher self, your deities, your source in the spirit realm as to how this applies to you. I'm just creating the patterns or the connections for you, letting you know cups and water has to do with the water element, how water and the water element relates to spiritual and our spiritual connections here on earth, as well as to the spiritual realm. There's heavy research regarding water and its part in spiritual rituals and ceremonies, and just how it connects to both the land and the spiritual realm. And then again, pulling in the ancestor connection that we got from the family card as well as the permanence card, and how there is a link to bloodlines and water within the body, and then water within the spiritual realm. These are the little tiles that I'm handing you, and you need to take this and sit with whoever it is that you work with to figure out how you're supposed to take this to the next level. But the Page of Cups is letting you know that they want you to continue to train in this in some facet to enhance your spiritual practice, to enhance your connection, most especially to enhance your connection with your ancestors. All right, Libra, that is all I have for you for this August 2021 reading. Go ahead and check out your sun, moon, and rising signs for a more well-rounded perspective. And please know that there's an extended version of this available for a small fee. So check out the link box below for that. Other than that, have a fabulous month, and hopefully we'll see you in a future video.